Welcome to Lashback, everyone. I'm Natalyan.
And I'm Phoebe. And this week we're going to continue talking about autumn or fall.
Fall.
Because what else goes on here? The clocks change, don't they?
Clock change, which is, it's a big thing. And actually, people have been talking, generally in the media and just amongst people I've spoken to about not wanting it. What does it do to you, Phoebe? Because honestly, it never used to affect me. I used to think it was crazy that people said it affected them, but last couple of years, it's really affected me. That hours just made such a significant difference to everything, my psyche, my life, my sleeping.
It's different at this time of year, don't you? Because you lose an hour because the clocks go back. So it's disorienting. I mean, I get that when the clocks go forward in March, and I'm always late for things because I think it's earlier than it is. And then I kind of almost blindsided by the fact that, what do you mean it's 4 o'clock already? And then it's really dark, really early, like overnight. And it takes away that gradual. So at the moment, it's been gradual,
And then it goes boom, dark.
It's dark. And, working in a 9 to 5, when I used to be in the office a lot, it'd be like the first time and you'd be like, oh, it's dark and I've got another hour of work to do. And I'm going home in the dark. I've always found it disorienting and depressive.
Yeah, and I mean, we gain an hour in terms of time in fall, and you lose.
Oh yes, that's right.
Yeah, but your point being, you don't feel like you have.
I'm disoriented just talking about it.
That's what I mean. But like last year, this is funny. Last year, I'm sitting on my couch. It's Sunday, so the clock change has happened, overnight. And throughout the day, I just kept noticing things. I was late for a couple of things or early or whatever it is. I can't remember. And then I kept noticing things around my place. And I messaged my neighbour. I said, has there been a clock change? And she went, yeah. And in fact, it was a Monday. So I'd gone a whole day not realising. And she goes, have you just realised? I went, yeah. Normally I see someone mention it on social media, but I hadn't been on there.
All my clocks, news or whatever.
It took a while to register it. But you're right about the whole, even though it's an hour difference, we lose that gradualness of darkness because at the moment it's gradually getting dark, but it's getting quicker.
4 minutes different day. You don't notice it.
No, and then when that clock changes happen, before you know it, you're always in darkness.
And it's morning as well. I mean, I think
I
think the original reason for doing summertime saving and all of that was so that people weren't going to work in the morning in absolute darkness. But it does become, in a way, a dark evening when there's Christmas lights and, maybe somewhere cozy to go and hang out in the evening is fine. It's the morning not being bright I find quite difficult to get my day started. But also about modern day, the clock changes for me. My digital alarm clock, my phone, my laptop, it does it automatically. And I remember when I was a kid, it'd be a bit of a ritual, go around the house and change all the clocks.
And I still have to do that.
Which clearly you don't need to do because you didn't even notice it last year.
Well, no, that's what made me. I just kept clocking things around the house, like the microwave, the oven, and things that don't really change. And I was like, and it eventually took a while. It took a while. But the reasoning...
he never changes his clock in his car. So you have to where is that an hour fast or is that on time?
Well, you just got to wait 6 months, right?
Yeah.
so you might as well just, some things are not worth it. Like they were like complicated. You needed engineering degrees to change the oven back in the day. And you'd forget each time you'd forget how to do it. So we used to just leave it. But the reasoning behind the clock change, I always thought, I mean, I've done some research. It could be the case as well for farming, right? So there's more light in the morning for farming. But the original historical context, according to the Weather Channel, is first introduced, daylight saving, so that's the forward bit, was first introduced in World War I as a way to reduce energy consumption. The idea was that by shifting the clocks forward in spring and back in fall, people would have more daylight in the evenings, thus reducing the need for artificial lighting and saving energy.
Well, that's still a good idea.
It is. And farming and stuff. But people are advocating, though, I don't know how they're advocating, but generally the rule of thumb, according to social media and online research, is that people are advocating for just keeping it as is. I don't know whether that's good, bad, or indifferent, really. I'm not sure. It depends what country you live in as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, because, like, I mean, if I was going to advocate for a clock change, I'd abolish the 9 to 5. I'd abolish the 5-day working week, and it wouldn't matter whether it was light or not at 7 o'clock, because I'd be doing what I wanted.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Let's advocate for that. Let us know, listeners, if you agree, and we'll start a campaign.
I remember always when I was a kid, thinking that it was so kids weren't walking to school in the dark.
Yeah, I always thought.
Why did I have to go to school? Let's just not go to school.
Well, and also walking home is what I always thought, because we'd finished school. I don't know what it's like now or in other countries, but we'd finish around 3, right? So if you didn't get home by 3:30, so you could just about generally, most people walk to school in England, and it would be local, so you'd be 15 minutes away max, right? So you'd be home by the time it was dark. That's what I always thought was the logic behind it, because
darkness is dangerous.
Correct. And your kids walked on their own, even in primary school or junior school, whatever you want to call it. So that was my logic behind it. But the only thing I say about, I've always said, oh, why do we have to have a clock change? But then thinking about it, do I really want to abolish it? Because for me, it does. We were talking about this in part 1 of this topic of autumn file, is that it signifies a change in the year, doesn't it? That clock change. Like, okay, now summer's gone. We've shifted. We're in new mode now. New mentality, Christmassy, this, and the Halloween, Thanksgiving. So it shifts. Without that, you kind of don't have that pinnacle turning point, right? Although I didn't realise it last year.
You had just moved into a new house.
Yeah, I did have a bit of a crazy year. But on that, like, what was the other thing? Just quickly, because I wanted to talk about Thanksgiving as well, right? Because that's a big tradition for me now living in America. But just a few things that came up on this research about clock changes, what it does to you, like the disruption of your circadian rhythms, your body clock, which definitely affects me. Increased risk of heart attacks. Studies show 24% increase in heart attacks.
What, because the clocks change?
Yeah.
What's the correlation there?
I don't know. I think it's just the changing of your body pattern. It's only an hour, but your body pattern just changes. So if you've got, any kind of issues or anything like that, then it shifts your.
It does take a while to get used to. I remember having my first job when I was at uni. I remember the clocks changed, and my mate turned up an hour early for her shift because she hadn't noticed. Which is, that's the disorientation piece. But it does, like, to this day, take me at least a week to get oh God, I'm waking up. What time is it?
2 weeks it took me last year.
Go to bed, but I'm not tired yet. All of that kind of stuff.
Who would think that would do such a thing with an hour? A higher incident of car accidents in a study in 2020 found a 6% increase. I guess darkness, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, you have to drive a little bit more responsibly when it's dark, don't you? Yeah.
And then sleep deprivation, obviously, we just said that. And, an increase in mental health issues, which is, again, the whole darkness thing, right? I think.
I find it so very hard. And the links to sunlight and vitamin D. We actually get a little bit depleted in our energies, which is fine if we didn't have to work like we do in the summer. There's a really big argument for me around, can we, rather than thinking about our productivity within the working week, can we not think about our productivity seasonally? So I'm probably going to get more stuff done in spring than I am in winter.
Yeah.
And in summer, it's maybe a bit too hot. But in autumn, I'm probably quite productive as well. There's kind of back to school.
In winter, not. Yeah.
So summer and winter, let's just chill it out a little bit. And then, we can get a lot done.
I guess we do a little bit. I completely advocate for that, because we're expecting the human body to be the same 12 months of the year, right?
You can't do it.
It's not realistic, is it?
It's not natural.
not
actually.
natural or
It's
religious.
realistic because it is real. It's what people do. But I guess the stats around heart attacks and stuff show
Yeah, but the
there's a
impact.
cost to that. Yes.
That's what I'm saying. So there's a cost
Yeah.
and an impact, a negative impact, because
Yeah.
we are trying to do it when we shouldn't really be doing it. We should listen to the human body more. We're not built. We were not built to work in that 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, 12 months of the year cycle. It was more,
If you want to go proper hippie woo woo about that, there are 13 lunar cycles in a year,
Yeah.
and we should have 13 months.
Yep. And it affects me. I've even said to you, because you're big on that sort of stuff, I've been feeling a certain way, Phoebe, and this has been, she's like, you're like, well, it's because of, and I'm like, oh. And it's always had, there's always been a reason for that. But let's just touch upon then Thanksgiving, because that's a big part of the autumn season, autumn, winter. I think it's autumn still, right? Thanksgiving, and that's something that we as Brits don't celebrate, but I have done because I've been in America for a number of years, and I really, really like it when it's.
Now, us Brits are burning effigies of terrorists who weren't really terrorists at the beginning of November, and you guys are eating turkeys because it's stealing the land off the indigenous people.
Yeah, I don't like the overconsumption, but what I really do like is I'm always invited to different people because I don't have family here and stuff. And it really is my experience with the people that have invited me that I've accepted and obviously become close with. We really have been thankful so it's been a very community thing, but the Thanksgiving is celebrated by the US and Canada.
Yeah. Canada do it early though, don't they?
Yes, second Monday in October, whereas the Thanksgiving is the fourth in America is the fourth Thursday, and it's actually a holiday. And Abraham Lincoln made it a holiday in 1863, and it's about bringing. Well, yeah, it's pilgrims, right? So as we know it today, has roots in 17th century when English pilgrims and Native Americans shared a harvest feast known as the first Thanksgiving, the moment of gratitude and cooperation, marking the pilgrim's successful harvest after a challenging.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's something we talked about in our other episode. Opportunities for communities to come together are always going to be good. Meaningful connection.
Yeah.
Really important.
Meaningful connection. We talked about that in another episode. We've talked about Guy Fawkes, which is a UK thing. Have a listen, listeners. But I agree. I just think that we always have to keep not forgetting to get too greedy.
It's not about how clever your decorations are, and it's not about how much money you've spent on such and such. It's about sitting around a table or around a bonfire or around or whatever and being with your neighbours and your family and sharing in something.
And do you know what I also
definitely lost that in modernity, but particularly since COVID, I think. We're just zombies.
I think so, and I also think this is going to be controversial, but you'll get it being vegan. But I also think like the influx of like killing turkeys for this, when really it should be a harvest of the land, of natural, plant-based items to feast on as a community, rather than suddenly that time of year all these poor turkeys. Well, chickens, whatever.
They're bred in order to
that really bothers me.
There's actually nothing about the modern meat industry that has anything natural about it at all. But that is another topic and very controversial.
Because I've been really big on that lately, and I've changed my ways and going to where I've wanted to be vegan wise and things like that. But I think that forgetting about whether you're vegetarian or vegan, just talking to the masses here, I think we have to be conscious of suddenly, them being a greedy race for a certain type of year is contradictory to the meaning of it.
Yeah, absolutely. The consumerism of it, the corporatization of it.
Should be loads of fruit and veg on a table that you've all got from the local farm.
Foraged. Yeah, you foraged it. This is what we're contributing rather than
thanks to the land and the animals and all of that, rather than eating.
I spent $100 in Costco, so here's my contribution, rather than I spent all day finding these things in the forest. Exactly. I mean, that's a whole conversation about modernity. And
let's park that. That's
park it, yeah. And on that note, are you looking forward to Thanksgiving or Guy Fawkes or fall or winter or
Halloween?
Let us know, guys.
Yeah, let us know.
Let us know.
Yeah, let us know. See you next week, guys.
See you next week.